So welcome again. I am Hometeam Brandon Lee from Sports Radio 680 The Fan, and proud and grateful to be a part of our first Horizon Bank 680 The Fan's Lunch with a Legend, Grady Jarrett, the All-Pro, number 97 on the field, number 1 in our hearts, and a guy we have known for quite a while, a guy that grew up in Conyers, Rockdale County's finest on the football field. Played his college football at Clemson, and then we were fortunate enough for him to come back home and become a great Atlanta Falcon. So we'll get into a conversation with him as he has been busy. And one thing about Grady, he stays busy. And there are some people that are in different arenas in sports, and once they're done, they're done. Not Grady Jarrett. He is always busy, always looking to share his time, so that should not be overlooked. So we'll get started with our questions and our conversation. I know you've been rehabbing as you suffered a terrible injury early part of the season, and you've been in and out of town, and we'll certainly get into that, but I don't know if you've been told there's some things going on up at Flowery Branch.
Heard a little something.
You heard a few things, and right off the rip, with you being here for a long time, you're in a position where you've been before. The Falcons are getting ready to hire a new head coach to lead them into the future. This will be your third coach that you will play for. First and foremost, who would you like to have come in here, and who would you like to play for as the next coach of the Atlanta Falcons? Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick?
Dang, you coming hard at me. But I don't know, those are two great candidates, two big names, very attractive names. But I think there's some people also in the NFL, like whether they're coordinators, former head coaches, that has done a really good job in their careers as well. So I think that, I think the team doing it right now, just taking their time, evaluating everything, not making too rash of a decision. And the popular choice, not always the right choice, and sometimes, some people, resume speaks for themselves, and they got to be honored in the same way as well. So I don't know everything that goes into a decision, like this, but, I'm sure that they doing their due diligence and going to choose the right guy this time. I'm excited for however it go though.
All right, I'll ease up on you a little bit. That was the first question. He is our fifth member of our Lunch with a Legend series, following Jeff Rancour and Mark Richt and Stuart Sink and Tom Glavine. So it's an honor to be here with you. So my second question is, how badly would you like Bill Belichick to come here to get back at the Patriots to see if we can avenge that loss in the Super Bowl?
It'll be cool to learn, football under, one of the greatest coaches of all time, without a doubt. So you can never, let that go, untalked about. But at the same time, for me, being a part of that game, how it went to, I might feel a little way about it. I've never been part of the, if you can't beat them, join them type of game. So, but no, it'll be an honor to play under him if that's the way they go. But also at the same time, you got to be patient and weigh all your options as well.
For those who don't remember everything in the Super Bowl, the most important thing to remember is Grady Jarrett, had it been voted correctly, would have been the Super Bowl MVP when you talk about getting to a quarterback multiple times, not once, not twice, 3 times in a Super Bowl game. So it was a roller coaster of emotions. To your point about being patient, your first coach that took you guys to the Super Bowl was Dan Quinn. He was a coordinator and got his first shot with the Falcons. So the Falcons doing their due diligence, what does that mean to you, that they're not just trying to throw somebody on you guys, throw somebody on the city and just say, here, take it and just have to deal with it?
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. Like you say, you always find, some diamonds in the rough sometime. And like you say, Dan was my first head coach. In my first 3 years, we was 500, 8-8 the first year. Then we went to the Super Bowl. And then the following year in 2017, we were the only team from the NFC to go back to the playoffs. That's it. So we had some consistency at the beginning, and then towards the end, it kind of fell off. But you got to realize, from that staff, there's so many head coaches in the league right now. So, had they never took that chance to hire Dan, then some of these other guys' career might be different as well, too. So that's why you can't always jump on the hottest name or the biggest media name, because, the people making these decisions, owners, GMs, whoever got to make these decisions, are pros at what they do. They know a lot more than we know, than I know as a player, than we know as fans. So they're gonna do their due diligence, and I feel like they'll make the right decision. And going through, another experience, and so learning from some of the shortcomings in the past, I think will help going forward.
You have played for Dabo Sweeney, championship caliber coach,
Yep.
and different coaches have different styles and connect differently with their players. Overall, just a broad brush conversation about what goes into a championship caliber coach. What are some of the things you've experienced from the NFL to your time, or from your time playing with Dabo Sweeney?
Yeah, more than anything, for me, I think the most important thing and why Coach Sweeney has so much success is the ability to connect with the players on a level that's deeper than just the X's and O's. Sometimes, especially in the NFL, you can get so enamored with this guy's a genius or this guy's a guru of running plays, but if you can't get guys to buy in to a certain thing you're trying to do or connect with them on a certain level, sometimes you can't bring out the best in everybody. And I think the biggest thing I think we need for the Falcons is somebody who more than X's and O's, more than everything, we need somebody who's like a true leader of men. Somebody that strong men could look up to and admire and be like, oh man, we this guy gonna get the best out of us. And it could be a young dude, it could be an older dude, but they specialize in connecting with the players because everybody gonna know the X's and O's, man. And I always tell people, like, even with players, I mean, you have all the stats, all the attributes, but it comes down to the way you play the game, and it's something that you can't like quantify, but when you see it, because it's like that person, they want it bad. This person might be faster, stronger, more smart, whatever, but I want that guy on my team. And that's what you want in a coach and somebody to lead when you want the type of players to go build a winning team.
Back to this Belichick thing. He's a defensive coach. You played for a defensive coach in Dan Quinn and an offensive coach in Arthur Smith. From where we sit as fans, does that make a difference? Are you being a defensive player, when you play for an offensive coach, what is different from being in a conversation where the defensive coach is the runner and the manager of everything on the football team?
The biggest difference, I think, sometimes is maybe just the time spent with your head coach. And it depends sometimes if they're the play caller or not. So, like, say if we got Dan wasn't always a defensive play caller. So when he was just a head coach and had a defensive coordinator, we wouldn't see him as much. But when he became our play caller, we'll see him more and he'll run the meetings more. So it's really the time spent, and then say like with Coach Smith, offensive coach, he'll let Coach Nielsen, run the meetings and stuff. But whenever he needed to come in and talk to us, he would do that. So I think the biggest thing is just really time spent with the head coach, whether they're offensive or defensive, because I haven't had the experience when I had a truly, just a head coach and it was just a coordinator here, fully coordinator there, and just a head coach. There was always a lean towards one way or the other. So that's my biggest experience. In my experience, it's just the time spent with your coach. But as far as the mentality, every coach wants not to have teams score on them, and every coach want to score a lot of points. So I think the wants are the same, but just for the player's perspective, for me, it's just the time spent.
What is it like going through the change, the first time and now the second time, now that you are a veteran player, the second time, what are some of the things that go into change in an organization that guys need to be aware of, and you as one of the team leaders have to be aware of when you try to get things going all in the same direction year one? I
think with going through another change now at this point, going into year 10 versus when I was in going into year 6, going into year 7 is when, going into year 7 when I had to change. So it's I have more experience kind of knowing, I think, what will work when guys coming in and out the building. But I also have enough wisdom now to know, we can have this talk as much as we want. I could beat the table for whoever I want, as bad as I want to come in here, but the decision not up to me. So I free myself of the anxiety of kind of knowing, or or to set myself up for a disappointment or a cheers of whoever the coach may be, because at the end of the day, we all got to go to work. And just like you guys, I've been here my whole career, and fortunately, and I'm ready to win, and however that look, whatever it take, that's the direction I'm going in. And so you passed all the good, the look good, sound good, what somebody did in the past. What's going forward? What's the plan for us right now? And because you can get caught up trying to, outdo the past of whatever the Atlanta Falcons are, or you worried about this to try to prove a point about something else that don't got nothing to do with the team we about to play on Sunday. We need to be eyes forward, and at the end of the day, know that we can achieve, the things we want to achieve. And to me, that's bring a championship to the city, and that's what I'm all about. And however that look is the way I want to go.
You do know, though, if you do bust up into Arthur Blank office and ask, hey, what's going on here? They would tell you a thing or two.
He might tell me a little something just to get me out the room real quick.
We talked earlier, you suffered the injury, you're doing very good with the rehab, but one of the things you learned in that is patience.
Yeah.
And, First Horizon Bank big in the community, helping small businesses and helping people grow in patience. What have you learned so far about patience the first time where you had to step away but still be with the Falcons even though you weren't on the field?
Yeah, man, patience is key because, without it, you drive yourself crazy. But patient also don't mean just sitting around doing anything, not doing nothing. So it's like being active, trusting the process is something big. And I know I have some questions about my knee tonight and just, what's the timetable? What it look like? What this look like? At the end of the day, the timetable going to be me taking it day by day and me being ready when I'm ready. It's going to be, I feel like I'm confident that I'm going to be more than ready when it's time to go. But if I'm not patient and I go feel like, I feel good today, and this might be 3-4 months, and I go try to rush it, I might send myself back, Or if I'm not active enough, going forward, taking care of my body, doing what I need to do, I might push my date out a little more. So the biggest thing is, patient, but, also working and knowing that you're going to overcome it. A lot of this going through this is just confidence, man. It's confidence and just knowing that you're going to come out on top. However it look, some days going to be better, some days not going to be so good. And you got to accept that, know that it's going to hurt, and it's going to be some good days too. So just taking it day by day, and I'm just really, really appreciating I don't gain appreciation to go through this experience because I never had a season-ending injury. And so to go through this, I can empathize more with some of the guys who's been through this and knowing what they had to overcome, because it's a tough battle, more than physically, mentally. And I miss playing the game, but I also got to see the game from another perspective. Watching as a spectator, being a pro. It's not like I'm like a kid going to an NFL game. I'm going to the game, being able to watch and see, what coaches see sometimes. So I know when I go back, and what fans see too, because even from playing the game of intensity and having fun celebrating, that energy transfers, to the stadium. If you're playing flat and you're playing lethargic or you're moving around, I feel like that transferred too. So I could just see it from another perspective, and I'm thankful for this opportunity.
Where would you say you are, where the medical professionals told you to be, and where you are at this point in your rehab?
Oh man, I'm doing well. I feel like I'm a little ahead right now. You could call it a week, 2 weeks, because the way I can do certain exercises and achieve certain milestones, and they test things like range of motion, strength percentages, and all that stuff. So I'm making some really great progress, and I think that I'm gonna have a really good timetable. I'm gonna give myself enough time to be ready to put myself to have a great season.
One of the other transitions you made, being young Grady to now veteran Grady, your father now.
Yeah.
What's it like when you have to still do your business as an NFL player, take care of yourself, but you also have to come home and be daddy too?
Yeah, man. So that's another transition that I went through. My son is like 2 years old, birthday in September, so it was like 5 months or something. So, but yeah, he's a great kid. He's in baby school right now. He go to a little Montessori school. He love it though. He's very active, and I'm excited to see him continue to grow. But it's the best thing for me. But going to work, but coming home, to hang out with him, do his thing, and I couldn't ask for a better situation. So it's awesome.
15 years from now, you see yourself being a coach?
15 years, and I don't know. I know I want to be part of the game, when it's all said and done. coaches work some long hours, though, man. I'd have put in a lot of work to put myself in position, right? I don't know if I want to work 15-hour days for 15 years, man. So I'm not sure. I'll be ready for whatever God got for me, but I definitely will have myself in position to make that transition if I do want to do that.
One of the perks of playing at home, your family can be there. Your mom she becomes everybody's mom once you meet her. But your mom, I had a chance to talk to her at training camp, and she was saying COVID was the only thing that almost slowed it down, but she worked out some things. She had never missed one of your games.
Yeah, no, never.
And even through that time, she didn't miss one of your games. What does that mean when you have that kind of support in your hometown, where no matter what the weather is, no matter what's going on, you're going to have some loving and friendly faces in the stands?
Yeah, no, it means a lot. It means a lot. Her support more than anything than, kind of extended family stuff. It's good to have people like, that you grew up with be able to come to games sometime. And as your career progresses, the extended friends and family can get a little distracting sometimes. But to have my solid and my mom and the family that's in the house with me being my support, it means the world to me. Like you say, she got real sick with COVID one time, then almost couldn't, and then also when COVID wasn't letting fans come to the game. That was when we played Seattle, that first game. That was like the only time the NFL did it. Like they couldn't come. Oh man, she had a rough day. Like but they did show up. They showed up to the game where I get out of my car and surprised me like with some good luck signs and stuff like that. So she didn't miss that. And then one year she had to have a pretty major neck surgery or whatever. And it was like a couple weeks before our first game. And she came in that and I walked. She had a wheelchair in the stadium. Everybody telling don't go to the game, man. You just chill. She showed up with a blinged out neck brace, everything.
She's sharp now.
And to the Eagles game in 2019, and that really meant a lot to me. I got to sack that game, and she was sitting up in the box. I remember pointing up to the box and stuff. So she committed, man. She committed, and I appreciate it. And that drive is something that that motivates me, to do my best.
Your Grady Gives Foundation, excellent work in the community. Mm-hmm. What have you learned about building relationships, from a rookie to where you are going into 10 years in the NFL?
I mean, building relationships is everything, building relationships, spending time, being present, and I think sometimes being professional athletes, we can forget that. Like when I say we, I mean me and my peers, sometimes you get so locked in on, doing what you got to do every day or, and taking every time that you get, for yourself, what you should, but the importance of sharing your presence and being there and giving back and the things that it can do especially for me, especially the youth, just being there for them and giving them opportunities and showing them things that they might not be able to see or experience if you weren't there or involved. That means a lot because, especially with kids, sometimes it's hard to achieve some things you can't see, And for me, growing up in Conyers, we didn't have somebody like myself to where I could be I can attain that. And they don't got to be professional football, or it was just be a professional, a professional anything. Or it was a top-notch lawyer, doctor, whatever it may be. It's important for the kids to be able to come in contact with people who've achieved these things because then they know it's attainable. Because if you're only trapped by your environment sometimes, I mean, if you got an adult that's doing something that maybe a kid not want to do, they might not say you can be something more because they might not, you know what I'm saying? So to have that, to sort of kind of inspire them is the most important thing to me. But also coming to things like this, spending time with the people who invest their hard-earned money, time, effort into me living my dream. Because at the end of the day, the reality of it is we don't have a game, without the fans, the supporters, sponsors, and so I wouldn't have an avenue to do what I got to do to take care of my family, So that's just me showing grace and gratitude to the people that are all a part of allowing me to do what I love. So I love it.
How you project yourself, too, is something the community has picked up on, and I want you to know that you have a friend in me and my brothers in the locker room if we ever have to go to court and testify because somebody said they saw Grady Jarrett dressed poorly. They will not be telling the truth.
No,
How
no.
you project yourself? What do you do? First of all, when you have something you want to put on, do you walk around the closet, put it on the bed, and walk around? How do you decide your outfits? Because you are always clean and neatly dressed when you are outside. And what do you think that projection does when kids and young people see you dressed nicely every time they see you?
Yeah, man. I mean, it definitely makes a statement, like as far as and how you want yourself projected in, how you want people to look at you. To say, I don't like. I'm not gonna say I don't like, but when people say they don't care about nothing or how, that's just not. I just don't think that's productive mindset, because you should care about how people think about you and project you sometimes. Because I mean, it's like I care about that too. You know what I'm saying? So, but I always like to dress right for the occasion, and I don't have a problem with looking good or like say spend money on the things you may want to, but it's a right outfit for everything, and but at the same time, you don't got to be trapped in a box with certain stuff, and but I like to look good, but also I don't like to go too far. What is that, left or right? I don't know. Too far crazy with the with the Paris runway outfits with the three bags or some of the crazy stuff, but I like to put it on, man. I like to put it on. I like nice things. I work hard for it, and I'm not ashamed of it. And but at the same time, I can feel that way because it took a long time, and I really worked my tail off to do what I like to do, and it should motivate people, however it do make some people feel, because me seeing other people dress nice and going to important places and being able to represent themselves how they wanted to motivated me. So I'm just out here trying to just motivate people.
And lastly, we're all waiting, we're all wanting the Falcons to get the right start, the right middle, the right finish, and not just for a season, but for a while. What's your message to the Atlanta Falcon fans that are PSL owners, the Falcon fans that stay home and watch, the Falcon fans that travel, the Falcon fans in the room that really do care? People get on Atlanta and get on the fandom, but people really do care,
Yeah.
and it means a lot. What's your message to them? As there's a little bit of unknown, but there's a lot of passion in the building, and there was one thing that was in the building, and that was some good defense last year.
Yeah, without a doubt. And all the passion, the want to win. I mean, we need it because it holds people accountable, to make hard decisions. And sometimes fans don't think their voice is being heard. We hear it, upstairs here, and it's very important. Like I said earlier, without the fans, you don't have a game. So I'll just say, though it's been rough, the past 3 years, 3 7-10 seasons, which I think, like you say, is unacceptable. I think we could have done a lot better. Unfortunately, I didn't have much of a voice in it this past season, getting hurt. So that was super frustrating for me, wanting to put the best thing out there.
And you were missed.
Yeah, and I really, I really felt that. So I definitely, I feel like a little, just like I let some folks down a little bit. But I'm gonna let that motivate me to go do what I got to do to be better. And but like in anything in life, you can't give up. You're right. A lot of times the people stop when they right at their breakthrough, and you never reach a breakthrough because you might give up. And as a fan, man, I think as being a player, there's nothing more important, to me than seeing a full Mercedes-Benz Stadium, being packed out, and people having a fun, good time, people taking pride wearing their Atlanta Falcons gear. And us overcoming and doing things like that, because I know how great it can be. So I just say don't lose that love, pride, and passion, because we feel it and we need it, as players. And it also motivates everybody, decision makers, to do what's best interest of everybody involved. So double down hard on the passion, on the showing up, and I'm sure we'll do what we got to do to earn your trust, respect, and stuff like that back.
And I think the fans are waiting. They believe, and they're excited about what is to come. Probably getting a new quarterback, probably getting a new coach, sleeves or no sleeves. We'll find out soon in the by and by. There he is, Grady Jarrett. He is our first Horizon 680 The Fan Lunch with a Legend guest. He is the fifth guest we've had. Again, he joins Jeff Rancourt, Mark Richt, Stuart Sink, and Tom Glavin. We will now open the floor up to questions for a Q&A with Grady if you would so choose. If you would just raise your hand, we'll make sure you get a microphone into your hand, or do they need to come up to the front of the room? Yes, you would have to raise your hand. We'll pick you out, come up to the front of the room and ask Grady a question. Who would like to take that all-important first step? What's your name?
Corey.
Welcome, Corey. You look like, wait a minute, we need to see if we can get you up to Flowery Branch.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
I played offensive line in college, so when that's back 100%, we can do board drills in here.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm going to need that training.
Super cool for you being here. Thanks for putting your time out there. I think everyone appreciates it. I would just be interested to hear your perspective on the business side of football. Everyone in here is a business person to some degree, and we always hear about players having to take a hometown discount or something to sacrifice for the team, not only sacrificing your body, but sacrificing yourself financially if it helps the organization, and how those conversations go. I mean, you were fortunate enough and worked hard enough to land a big money deal, and what does that mean to a franchise, and how do they approach you in those conversations, especially when we're trying to build a team that's not only going to be good for next year, but for many years to come?
Yeah, you know, I haven't had that hometown discount thing back there. We don't do that. Because at the end of the day, you got to understand, it's a business. And when you got to think, you know, for me being in my position, there's only so many men walking this earth that can do what I do. And that's the reality of it. And so if you have other suitors to do certain things, you know, and if somebody is like a coach too, if you got better options, you know, it's like I'll use like Coach only because I like Coach Nielsen. We just had one from the Falcons, and I was hopeful that we kept him. But when you have a situation where you don't know who's gonna be the coach or something, you got to do the best thing in your interest and go do something else if you have suitors for it. And so it's the same thing kind of like with a player sometimes. If things don't work out contractually or if you don't, like, you may have to go do something else. But if you're in a position to where, you know, your contract stuff might not be right or however it is, and the teams know that too, and sometimes they give guys no other option, you know, but to whether take a discount or play for another number, or they got to release them or something like that. So you got certain guys who, you know, sometimes the best number that you come to is what it is. You know, we sign a contract, you know, honor two sides of the contract, and some guys who, if it's not right, you know, they can take advantage of that the same way, you know. So like you say, like sometimes players looked at like got to be loyal to the team, loyal to the thing, but at the same time, if you got an ex-player sign a deal that he's expected to, you know, that he's thinking that he's going to get this money or whatever, and he's forced in a position to where he got to take less or not have a job, that's a tough position. That's a tough position to be in too. So it's a little unfair sometimes when you ask a player, somebody to sacrifice, but as soon as something doesn't fit the need of the team or you know, whatever it may be, then they can just, you know, maybe strong arm you away. So it's a two-way street, you know, sometime. And as much as you may love somebody personally, much as, you know, y'all hung out or whatever, at the end of the day, like you say, in business, everybody trying to win to a certain degree when it's like kind of together. But it was something like, it's crazy. Like somebody be like, yeah, you got to work like, let's just say a crazy number, like 20 more hours than you're supposed to, but I'm going to pay you 30% less. I don't want you to have a problem with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
You should check out your starting radio, brother.
Yeah, so I'm like, but if you don't got another option, you got to do what you got to do, you know? And so it's not too far off different from a player standpoint.
I have a question. A lot of bankers and business people, how do you arrive at your decision on who you can trust with your financial matters? When you have to buy a home, when you have to discuss wealth management, when you have to discuss investments, how do you the process to arriving at that decision? Mm-hmm. Because you have 50,000 people
coming at you all the time,
reaching
but-
out.
yeah.
I mean, I know a guy who wants to work a car wash with you if you got time.
yeah. So I get kind of business investment stuff all the time. So like we talked about relationships earlier and how important it is and people that you trust and the counsel that you get. Like so you got to take your time, find good counsel, and then based off relationships and history that maybe they've done with other clients or in some proven track records. You know, I'm not the biggest fan on startup, like especially dealing with finances. Like you don't have like a track record to kind of show me a couple years or something, or I'd be like even like working with like say like banks is like you may get like I'm not bank, let's say financial advisor. I might have like a friend one day want to be like I want to be a financial advisor, and it'd be like, all right, well, you know, what bank team you work with? If it's a bank I never heard of, and I know if all heck breaks loose and I lose whatever money I get them, I've got to be like kind of insured where I can get some money back, you know. So it's like big time banks and stuff like that, so where it's like, you know that they got some money to give you back. But if you're working with, you know, some random bank in like, I don't know, like South Dakota or something that, you know, people like, I put all my finances there, they said I'm gonna get double this, and then they disappear one day, and it's like, oh, well, they weren't real. So it's like, you just gotta be, use some good common sense sometime. A lot of, and I say that not disrespectfully because I've seen and heard some really, really terrible stories.
Any other questions? Anybody? Back of the room?
Great. So numbers came out for the playoffs. I think Packers, 49ers, like 38 million people, right? That's more than all the other sports put together. What is it about the NFL that resonates so much with fans, and how are those numbers still going up like a rocket ship?
Shoot, I don't know, but I think we played one of the best games in the world, man. It's like people love NFL football, and it's like, you know, it's really the only country where you can get, you know, top-notch football. You know, I did a trip one time. It's called American Football Without Borders, and we did a football camp in Budapest, and teaching the guys Budapest. It was, you know, like maybe 15-year-olds up to like 38-year-olds all in this one camp. They just want to learn how to play football. And I just think if you had the option to watch some American football versus some Budapest European football, you want to watch you some football and just playoff time, you know where you're going to watch that game. So so we're fortunate enough to be in a market, and just everything football represents, man. Just teamwork, hard work. You know, it's physicality, aggression, it's finesse. You know, it's you know, there's guys who superstars, guys who, you know, just some grinders. I mean, it just represents so much about, you know, what I feel like what the U.S. is about, man. And I think people love it. It's like, and nothing comes close to the love I think fandom has for football, man. Like, I mean, even basketball, like we can watch the game and you kind of, for me anyway, I like basketball, but I'm not a basketball fan where it's like, I know exactly who they playing. You know what I'm saying? And we only get 17 games a year. It's like towards the end of the week. Everybody done worked all week. People want to celebrate, get together. It ain't like or baseball where we're playing 100 games a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much investment to go in these very few opportunities. And I think that's what kind of draw a lot of fans. I'm not an expert or anything, but that's just what I may think.
Hey, Grady, real quick, I saw the end of the game. Obviously, we know how Coach Smith felt at the end of that last game. I'm interested from a player standpoint, even offense and defense. Is there respect on the offense for what Jameis Winston did, or is it across the board feel like he disrespected his coach? What's the thought process?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Coach Smith was right to be pissed off about that, but at the same time, speaking from the defense's perspective, and these are my teammates I'm talking about, you got to be ready, especially playing a game like that, like the Saints. Like you got to, like they would just do something like that just cause, like as they did, you know. And you could say, you know, you don't let the score get like that, or you know, you got to play defense or whatever. But it's like if you have a disagreement, you know, with somebody, you might win a disagreement or an argument or somebody with, say, like a contractor at your house, and you like, all right, well, we agree to pay this or whatever, and you know, you got me, I'll pay them whatever, and you got your hands tied, and he's like just like slap you in the face, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you get like if you arms down, somebody can get hurt about it, but at the same time, you can never let your guard down. So, and I think on the Jameis end of it, if your coach told you not to do something, and you're a quarterback, you know, the decision maker on the team sometimes, and how you do it is I think he made his own bed, whether it was funny to him or the players thought this or whatever. But like you said, boss say you do something, you don't do it. We all work for somebody, and so Coach Smith is multi-layered. I feel like Coach Smith was super right to be upset. I feel like defensive guys, you can't think it's going to be sweet. You got to be always on your guard. And for Jameis or whatever, hope it was worth it. Good luck.
He will be seen again, and they do play the Falcons twice a year. So that was an interesting ending to a game and a season. Anyone else? Questions for Grady? Any other table?
Just going back to when you played college in Clemson, if you went to out of all the ACC, SEC games that you played, if you had to visit another stadium, what came close to Death Valley? Is there another place that you could think of that you'd like to go?
I love Death Valley, love playing there. Obviously playing that South Carolina game away would always be crazy intense, and I love playing those crazy intense environments. I'm trying to think, but if I was playing for the other team to play for their fans or against.
So just say if there was another stadium that you played at that would come close to.
Oh, come close. Okay, yeah. So we went down to Florida State one year, and the Florida State can be really, really popping or kind of dead. But this year they had them chance out. They was rolling, and that would be a fun environment to play in, whether you for the team or against. Some of the stadiums we played in weren't too big, like Death Valley, sort of like the ACC, and because I'm trying to think, we came to Georgia Tech, man. It was the vibe there. I never played. Well, I would say I never played Miami, but I think the games don't be popping like that.
2,500 people.
Yeah, facts. I don't know. It was hard to rival Death Valley, man. But whenever we came to Atlanta, we played the Peach Bowls, man. Those some popping games for sure. So I was always happy to come back there because I was from here. So I can't. Other than that South Carolina, because I didn't go to none of the big. I never played we played LSU, but I didn't play them in their home. Played them in Atlanta. So, but I played Ohio State and stuff. But it was bowl games.
My kids are at FSU, so my wife went to FSU.
Okay.
So they'll love to hear you.
Yeah. When the FSU popping, they a tough place to go win. Yep.
Anyone else? Right here, front table.
Yes, great. I'm a former football player and I'm a business owner now. And I own a construction company that's full of ex-football players.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to let you know what you actually mean, because I think about 80% of my company is from Atlanta.
Okay.
And so with you being a Grady baby, that's a big thing for us. It is so funny that we go to our season ticket holders, we go to a lot of games. A lot of guys are ex-receivers and everything, but everybody has a number 97 jersey.
Oh man, that's awesome.
We all can't wear number 97.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, need some more, man. Need some more, but no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
It's just something that I know Mario here with me is a football coach at Stockbridge High School,
Okay.
and it is such an inspiration for how you carry yourself. I'm talking about you a role model, because at me as a president of the company, I try to be our role model.
Yes, sir.
But for a professional athlete to be from here and so visible and so in touch with his roots, man, it's just unbelievable. We're just unbelievably proud of how you carry yourself, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. That mean a lot to me, man. That mean a lot to me. Make me want to go harder. Yep. So thank you.
That is great. Anybody else? Front of the room, middle of the room, back of the room. All right. Well, we thank everyone for coming out today. Again, Gypsy Kitchen is a fantastic place by yourself, with a loved one, with a group, and they always have great food, great customer service. Make sure if you're in the area, you stop by. Make sure that you support Grady Jarrett and the Falcons as they go into this upcoming season. It looks like it's going to be very memorable, and whatever happens, it is going to generate a lot of buzz and excitement. We're all excited for Grady to get healthy, get back on the field. We thank him for his time. Let's give him another round of applause. ask him about every 3 months, man, when do you sleep? Because this guy is always somewhere in front of people here in Atlanta. So again, we thank you, Grady, for your time. And we thank everybody who listens to Sports Radio 680 The Fan. If you have not already, you can always pull out your phone and tap the app. Just go to the Google Play or the iTunes Store and download the 680 The Fan app. We thank everybody for coming out. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see everybody next year for Lunch with a Legend, presented to you by First Horizon Bank. We thank you very much. I'm Home Team Brandon Leak from the locker room on Sports Radio 680 The Fan.